The suburban neighborhood lay quiet under the shroud of a moonless night, the street lamps casting dim pools of light on the empty streets. Sarah and I, just an ordinary couple with a comfortable home and 2 children, Emily and Michael, were sound asleep. We had no inkling of the impending nightmare. Our peaceful rest was shattered by a sudden and gut-wrenching sound, the crash of shattering glass. I awoke with a start, my heart pounding in my chest as I nudged Sarah awake. "Did you hear that?" I whispered. Her eyes shot open, fear gripping her. In the eerie silence that followed, we exchanged a worried look. Something was terribly wrong. Together, we slowly crept out of bed and made our way down the creaking wooden staircase to the main floor of our home. The children's rooms were situated at the top of the stairs, their doors closed. I reached for the baseball bat I kept beside the staircase for security. As I cautiously descended the stairs, I heard a faint, muffled noise coming from the basement, a scraping sound. My heart raced as I recognized it as the unmistakable sound of someone trying to force their way in. Adrenaline coursing through my veins, I signaled for Sarah to stay back and be quiet. I reached the basement door and cautiously turned the knob, opening it just a crack. What I saw sent a chill down my spine. There, halfway through the small basement window, was a man, his form silhouetted in the darkness. In his hand, he held a crowbar, which he was using to pry open the window, piece by piece. "Sarah," I whispered urgently, "get the kids. Call the police." She nodded, her eyes wide with terror, and quickly rushed up the stairs. Turning my attention back to the intruder, I realized that I had to confront him, protect my family. "Hey!" I called out, my voice trembling with a mix of fear and determination. "What do you think you're doing?" The intruder, Victor, turned his head slowly, his eyes hidden behind a black ski mask. His voice was chillingly calm. "Don't make this harder than it has to be. Just give me what I want, and nobody gets hurt." I tightened my grip on the baseball bat, ready to defend my family against the nightmare that had just begun. Victor's voice sent shivers down my spine. He was a stranger, an intruder in our home, demanding something he didn't specify. I couldn't allow him to advance any further. My heart pounded in my chest as I clutched the baseball bat. The dim moonlight revealed his silhouette as he hesitated at the basement window. In that tense moment, I had a decision to make. Do I confront him, or do I wait for the police? My family's safety depended on my choice. I spoke, trying to keep my voice steady. "I don't know what you want, but you've got the wrong house. We don't have anything of value here." Victor's eyes, hidden behind the ski mask, bore into mine. He spoke again, this time with a sinister edge. "I know what you have, and I'm not leaving without it. You can make this easy, or you can make it hard." The seconds felt like hours as I weighed my options. I couldn't let him advance any further, so I lunged forward and swung the baseball bat with all my might, aiming for Victor's hand that held the crowbar. With a sickening thud, the bat made contact, and Victor's hand recoiled in pain. A muffled cry escaped from behind the ski mask as he dropped the crowbar. The window clanged shut, cutting off his entry point. Sarah returned to my side, clutching her phone, and whispered, "I called the police. They're on their way." I nodded in relief, but knew our ordeal was far from over. Victor, his hand likely injured, had been temporarily thwarted, but he was still inside the house, and he was furious. He retreated into the shadows of the basement. The sounds of his movement were faint, but I could hear his heavy breathing and muttered curses. It was a standoff, and the house had become a battleground. "Stay close to me," I told Sarah as I gripped the bat tightly. We had to protect our children at all costs. Victor, undeterred, called out from the basement, his voice laced with malice. "You're not getting out of this. I won't leave empty-handed." The minutes dragged on, each one filled with anxiety and fear. The police were on their way, but we were alone in the darkness, facing a man who had invaded our home, his motives and intentions still a terrifying mystery.